What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Winnipeg Jets and their 6-game losing streak and how coaching is, a big part of that. It just has not been a very good last few games for Winnipeg, and truthfully, I'm worried because it seems like Rick Bowness and his staff really want to keep things, the way they haven't been working and, trying to force it. And, clearly it has not been working the last 6 games. We're going to dive into that right now. Now, I want you guys to take a trip with me back to December when the vibes were at their highest. Kyle Connor was injured, but the Jets did not care. They had Nikolai Ehlers, Mark Scheifele, and Gabe Vilardi on that top line. And that top line was one of the most dangerous in hockey, if not the most dominant line in the NHL. That line went on a run, the Jets went on a run, and that's when things were crazy. The Jets weren't allowing goals because they were in their opponent's end pretty much the entire game. They had Connor Hellebuck, doing what he had to do to win that game, winning games, 3-4-1, 4-2, 3-2 with ease. And we were rolling, baby. We split that lineup when Kyle Connor came back. Now, I'm a fan of Kyle Connor. I like him a lot. Solid player, definitely one of the most elite goal scorers in the NHL, but, does not really drive play. The guy is absolutely incredible, skilled, but him and Mark Scheifele together did not work when he came back. And we are still trying to make that work. The only time they work together is when Nick Ehlers is on that line. And it's tough because I don't know why we would go away from a line that was working so well. I don't have an issue with the Jets and Rick Bowness trying to say, okay, you know what, we're going to try out some things here. We're going to put Connor, Scheifele, and Vilardi together like they tried to do at the beginning of the year, but obviously they couldn't with injuries. I have no problem with them trying new things. But when it didn't work for an extended period of time, I thought that, okay, now would probably be the time to get away from it, go back to the top line that was working so well for you in December and into January, but they never really did that. It was very, far and few between the times that we'd see Nick Ehlers and Mark Scheifele together, and we never saw that top line back together, right up until the second half of the third period against the Ottawa Senators, and then surprise, surprise, they looked incredible. So we went a long time without seeing that line, and why? The amount of times that they have floundered in the second half of this season here since the calendar flip in 2024, why would you not try to go back to the lineup that was giving you, the most success? And it's just really confusing. Like, why are we trying to force this thing that isn't working? Why do we keep trying to do this? The definition of insanity is doing something over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's really what we're doing here. It's insanity. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I really don't understand why Rick Bowness does it. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but this is the biggest one. You've got all these guys healthy again, Ehlers, Scheifele, Vilardi. Now, why are they not together? Maybe they do start the game against the LA Kings. They played really well together in the last 10 minutes of the Ottawa game. Of course, the Jets didn't come out with the win in that one, but it was noticeable right away. The Jets didn't look very good in that game right up until they changed the lines. And, that line was pumping. Connor with Monahan into Foley together. That is the dream top 6. That is what dreams are made of, ladies and gentlemen. The third line, of course, with Niederreiter, Lowry, and Appleton. Then the fourth line can be, whatever mix of players you want. Iafallo, Barron, and Nemestikov. That is the dream lineup. That is the blueprint to be successful. All of those lines play so well together, and I just don't understand why it had taken us that long to get back to it. I hope that we do go back to it against the LA Kings. We'll have to see what the lineups look like, but that's just my thoughts on the lines. I don't know why the Jets would go away from something that was working so well. You'd think that they want to keep a good thing going, but it seems like they want to make Connor, Scheifele, and Vilardi work. More than succeeding with Nikolai Ehlers, Mark Scheifele, and Gabe Vilardi. Feels a lot like the Paul Maurice, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Blake Wheeler line, where he would not separate those guys whatsoever, and the results were often not very good. Another thing that really bugs me about what Rick Bowness has been doing is that Dylan Sandberg is now almost like a rotational player because of how decent Logan Stanley has been playing. I don't think he's changed the world or anything. He's gotten a couple fights. He's played steady, but at the end of the day, he's been a very average bottom pairing defenseman. His weaknesses are still there. I understand Rick is giving him, a pat on the head and saying, hey, you played really good. Here's another game. And good for Stanley. I don't have an issue with that at all. but at the expense of Dylan Sandberg is ridiculous. There's no way on planet Earth that Dylan Sandberg should ever be scratched for Logan Stanley or out of the lineup in general. If they took out Schmidt and put Sandberg in, fine. He's one of their better, puck-moving defensemen, Sandberg is, and I think that's fine. But Sandberg has quietly been incredible this year, just very responsible. Sometimes, yes, does make some, young player, mistakes and everything, but so does really everybody on defense. He's played really good, and he's a big part of the Winnipeg Jets. I think he's a pretty good penalty killer, and to scratch him and keep in, Nate Schmidt and Logan Stanley, I think that's a little bit ridiculous. There's my one critique there. He's been one of the more solid guys this season, and, scratching Sandberg over a guy like Neil Pionk and Nate Schmidt, I think it's kind of ridiculous. Pionk's looked like a bag of ass lately. Sorry, but God, he's been bad. Very, very, very bad as of late. And I don't know. I just don't understand it. I think that's stupid. I hope that Sandberg's a regular come playoff time. I hope this is, just kind of funneling the guys through. But if he's not, that is a massive, massive failure by Rick Bowness. And the last thing that I'm going to be talking about here is Cole Perfetti, a guy that started the year in the top 6, looked really good, and then he went on a slump. And the slump extended and, wasn't playing some of the best hockey ever. Was out of confidence, didn't really have much to go off of, and he was just going through something. And instead of, playing him, it seemed like Rick Bowness was like, no, okay, we're going to scratch you, and we're going to try to ice the best lineup that we have. I have no problem scratching Cole Perfetti for a game or two. That's totally understandable. Younger player, maybe just needs to watch a game from the press box, right? But, his role diminished, moved him to the 4th line, and then you scratch him. So his confidence is on the ground. And then you go out and you continue to scratch him. And then you put him in, he scores, and then you take him out again. And, I don't know. When Cole's had minutes, he's looked really good in those minutes. And I think he brings a lot more to the game than Alex Iafallo does. I think he brings a lot more than Morgan Barron does some nights. Different skill sets, obviously, from all three of those guys. But I think he brings a lot more in terms of upside. And I don't think this is a hot take or anything. Alex Iafallo, great start to the season, but he's been, more or less pretty invisible for the Jets this season. I'm really hoping that, they kind of try to get Cole in here a little bit more. If he's a playoff regular playing on the 4th line, where I think he should be playing, I think that's perfect. He doesn't have a top 6 spot anymore because of the Tyler Toffoli acquisition. That's fine. That is totally understandable, and truthfully, I don't want Cole Perfetti in the top 6 at this point yet in his career, right? Unless there's an injury or something like that. I think the 4th line is fine, playing with Vlad Nemestikov, Morgan Barron, and those guys can ride together. I think that's great, and I don't know. I just think he brings so much more in terms of offense, and, honestly, defense too. Very underrated defensive player. I know he's not the biggest guy, not going to, win all of the board battles in the world, but definitely way more responsible than a lot of the players are on this Jets team defensively. So Cole Perfetti, I think, is doing a fine job. I think that he should be in the lineup, and I think that it's crazy that he's still being in and out of the lineup, but that's just my thoughts there. We just need them so badly to keep that top 6 together of either Scheifele, Velarde, Connor, Monahan, Toffoli. We need that going forward. That's a very dominant top 6, and the Jets are going to see a lot of success. So I really hope that Rick Bowness has seen the light and, says, okay, we're going to roll with it now. But, we'll have to see what goes on forward here. Hopefully the Jets can, get back on track here. 6-game losing streak sucks. I really hope they can pull out a win against the Kings. And, a lot of these other teams going forward here. Doesn't look like they're going to win the Central, but, to end the season strong would go a long way. But yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. Thanks so much for watching. What do you guys think about the Jets lineup, the coaching decisions, just their whole streak in general? I want to hear about it. Just give me your thoughts on the temperature of the Winnipeg Jets right now. But with that, guys, I am out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Jets, go. Bye-bye.